Alright, hello and welcome to another Why Would You Use? So, today we're going to be going over the Lex Prime. So this is my favorite secondary in the game. It does insanely high damage and it has a lot of other things going for it too. So let's just jump right into it because this could be a little bit longer than normal. So first of all, this is the optimal build in my eyes for the Lex. And I know that you would probably regularly see me be using hydraulic crosshairs instead of convulsion. And the reason for that is because I consider hydraulic crosshairs to be really fun. It gives me that slight chance for red critting, and that's just hilarious and fantastic when it does happen, even if it's very rare. So that's why you may have seen me use hydraulic, sharpened, and the rest in the past. But the build that I do consider to be better is with convulsion, although there are a lot of options. So the thing about this build and the way it is set up is that this is 5 Forma. You actually, technically, once all these Prime mods are maxed out, you need 6 Forma to do the full variety. We'll get to that in a second. But you have a lot of options with the Lex, and the reason for that is because this does jaw-dropping damage even if you did this. This does real enormous damage, even with just this, which means this last slot, you actually have a ton of options for, depending on what you want to do. And what I mean by that is because you have heat, and you are going to be using heat because primed heated charge, there's no reason not to use this mod. Because you have that mod, you actually have a lot of options. What I mean by that is that, obviously, whenever you add, like, ice damage, you have Blast. Blast is a really crowd control heavy status, and you have decent status. In fact, if you wanted to double down on that, you would actually probably use Frostbite to have even higher status with more consistent knockdowns with Blast. And that will still do insanely high damage, and it's a totally viable way to use this gun. And, of course, as I was using before, with Convulsion, radiation damage, really good against Bombards, which are the main dangerous enemy in the game, I would say. Devastating to them. Tons of damage. Radiation is a good proc. All wonderful there. Obviously, hydraulic crosshairs, if you want to get your like red crit super fun time, it makes your gun way more consistent with criticals, which is a huge boon. Not gonna argue with that. And finally, the thing that not a lot of people think about, using Seeker. So if you never want to use Seeker, you only need 5 Forma on this weapon. But if you want to use Seeker sometimes, because it is a good mod for this weapon, especially when you're fighting large groups, you would need 1 more Forma on probably just another V polarity for those couple extra points you'll need. The reason to use Seeker is obviously because being able to hit multiple enemies, if you are in a situation where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to watch 20 guys walk out of this spawn door, you will do significantly higher DPS if you are consistently hitting 2 or more enemies. And if it's 2 or more, the or more part is crazy way higher damage that you will be doing whenever you're firing the Lex. So planning around that and the situation that you're going to be in, the Seeker is actually worth considering in terms of damage. But the really high damage thing that I prefer is Convulsion. Yeah. If we ever come out with primed Convulsion, I would actually probably use that with what's it called, pathogen rounds to get corrosive damage in some cases also, which is worth noting, I suppose. And you could, of course, if you want and need corrosive damage, you can do that. You lower your DPS by a pretty significant margin because primed heated charge is so fucking good. But it's worth noting. And actually, because I'm going to be using only the Lex here, we'll go with blast damage because one of the things that the Lex likes to have with it, like most pistol secondaries do, is some crowd control alongside it. This kind of patches that up so it's a more soloable weapon. So we'll just go with this. The damage will be crazy significant anyway, especially at the level we're going to be testing at. So, not level 105, no thank you. We'll do level 50 for the sake of time. Pop all these enemies in here. And here we go. Knocked all those guys down. There are rockets incoming on my position. Blast is very helpful here. In fact, Blast is one of like kind of the overlooked damage types, I would argue. I rolled instead of doing what I wanted to do. Still need to find the other ancient. There it is. Almost. Oh. That's why almost. There we go. Obviously, headshots are what you want, but being able to shoot them anywhere is pretty beneficial, honestly. Yep, that knockdown. Blast proc on me. Still very good, as you might imagine. And I believe that should be everyone. Yep, that build is a lot safer. Still incredibly high damage. Yeah. If you're using something, any frame with crowd control, which is generally like pretty much most of the good frames, then you don't really need to use this build. You would probably use this instead. Higher damage and such. Or hydraulic like I do for fun. But yeah, this weapon is fucking incredibly powerful. Like, it's very clear. Actually, am I on convulsion right now? I am. You know what? Let's just do the other thing I was doing. Let's just ramp it up. Why not? Because this is just fun to do and see how few shots it takes. Also worth noting that my on crit sharpened bullets, I believe it is. Yeah, should be that. Is not going to happen here. So I'm missing 75% of my crit damage. Those of you that have actually fought enemies at this level know that the damage I was just doing is kind of fucked up. But yeah, that's why you would use the Lex Prime, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. This should be kind of whatever. Messing with bombard rockets. That's what they damage type those enemies are not weak to, worth noting. Need to get rid of some of these rockets on your tail. That enemy is far enough away now. Okay. I can kind of take out whoever I want.